Hello, viewers. Welcome to my channel, The English Elixir by Anjali. And I am Anjali Guru, a language and communication skills coach. But apart from being just a language and communication skills coach, I am also a senior school English educator. And it's like a dream come true for me because I've always wanted to make videos on the ICSC and ISC curriculum as well. So I've been posting videos on language and communication and English as a general subject and language, as a foreign language. But I think today is the day that I'm getting to make this video on your curriculum, ISC curriculum, and you have this play there in your syllabus. So literature, you have Macbeth, written by William Shakespeare. Again, now before I start with the explanation, before I tell you all about the scene or the play, let me just clarify something. So this is like a disclaimer that I'm giving you. So this explanation is going to be completely in English. But and my students, they know very well that I hardly use any Hindi explanation in my class, only in very typical scenarios and cases, in order to explain something which is quite complicated and difficult to understand, that I use Hindi as a medium. But otherwise, my medium of explanation is only and only in English. But considering the fact that this video will be going out to many students out there, and there might be some students who are not very comfortable with English, complete English as a medium of understanding, comprehension. So if you have such a problem, you can drop it down in the comment section. If you have such a request, I will try my level best. I will try to put my best foot forward to make another video which is going to be partially in Hindi and partially in English. See, it's a little difficult for me to make the complete video in Hindi. That would be next to impossible. But yes, I can definitely try to amalgamate both the languages, juxtaposition them. And partially I will be using Hindi and partially English explanation. No, I think that will justify your wish, your request, your command. Okay, so now we get back to we start the explanation of Act 1, Scene 1, Macbeth. Before I start with the explanation, you must know, it's very important for you people to know that Macbeth is a tragedy. Okay, now what is the difference between a tragedy or a romantic comedy? As you must have seen in your previous plays, as you must have studied Merchant of Venice in class 10, we could see a lot of poetic justice happening by the end of the play. Now, you can ask me, ma'am, what is poetic justice? So, poetic justice is good for good and bad for bad. So, Antonio was saved and Shylock was punished in the end. So, that is something that you call as poetic justice, a balance of situation, good and bad, both being balanced out and rewarded accordingly. Okay, but a tragedy is something very different. Here we can see a tragic hero. As the name itself suggests, the title of the play, Macbeth. Who is our hero? Our hero is Macbeth. But what kind of a hero is he? He's called as a tragic hero. Okay, then why is he called as a tragic hero? Because he meets a tragic end in the play. Okay, a downfall by the end of the play. Why a downfall in the play? Because there is a tragic flaw in his character. Do you see how many tragic words am I using over here? Because ultimately it's a tragedy. Now, what is this tragic flaw? How do we anticipate a hero to be? We expect a hero to be absolutely flawless. Okay, so as we can see here, Macbeth, he was expected to be absolutely flawless, glorious, courageous, somebody worth trusting and investing all your faith in some character. So that kind of a character was Macbeth expected to be, and he was that sort of a person before he met the three witches in Act 1, Scene 3 of the play. So these three witches, they play a major role. And just because of this meeting, the tragic flaw inside his character, it somewhere gets instigated. It gets sparked. And because of the tragic flaw, he meets a very tragic downfall by the end of the play. And that is why this play is called as a tragedy. Okay, so this was all about Macbeth being a tragedy. Now we start with Act 1, Scene 1. As you can see, the opening characters in Act 1, Scene 1, we meet the three witches. Very important, as I've already told you, that these three witches, they play a pivotal role. They play a very important, a very crucial role here in the play, because these are the three characters who are actually, now you see, which person in this world is perfect? Nobody is perfect. So we cannot expect Macbeth to be absolutely perfect. He has a good side and he has a bad side as well. But the only problem in his life here, when he meets the three witches, is the bad part becomes more dominating. Okay, the evil part, the devilish part, not the angelic side. Before meeting the three witches, his angelic side was more active, was more dominant. But after meeting the three witches, his ambitious nature gets sparked up somewhere. It gets aroused, and he starts to lead himself by that side of his character, by the devilish side. Okay, by that bad part, which leads him to his downfall in the end. So one mistake, then the other mistake, then the third mistake in order to cover the previous mistake. So mistakes after mistakes ultimately leads to a complete blot out in the end. All right. So that is why this is called as the tragedy. So first witch, second witch, third witch. Something more about the three witches, that they're also called as the three weird sisters. Okay, so three weird sisters, and they also play a very important. They're very popular in classical mythology, where they're also called as the three sisters, responsible to weave the thread of a person's fate, destiny. Where the first witch was supposed to weave the spin the thread of a person's fate, destiny. The second witch used to measure it, was set to measure it, and the third witch used to cut the thread of a person's destiny. So extremely popular in classical mythology. You can read more about them in Google. You will definitely find much more information. But here, as witches, the name itself, they represent the paranormal world, the supernatural world. They don't belong to the normal world, because obviously you don't usually see witches hanging around your proximity, okay, or in your neighborhood. So when we say witches, they obviously belong to a completely different world. So this forms the very first theme of the play, which is the theme of supernatural. Okay, you can write it down if you want to. By the way, you should definitely write down, because this theme is going to run throughout the play. The theme of supernatural, the theme of paranormal, okay, witches. And you can see many factors here in the first scene itself, which will be adding on to the same theme. Okay, for example, the location of the scene. What is the location of the scene? It is a heath. Okay, so it's a wasteland where you have no landmark or no important building or structure present over there. It's completely a wasteland where they are meeting. Then the second factor which is contributing to the theme of supernatural is the weather itself. Okay, what kind of weather? As you can see very well, it's written over there. I hope that you can see my highlighter on the screen. Okay, so just pay attention to wherever my highlighter is going. This is thunder and lightning, three witches enter. Very important. The kind of weather which was prevailing over there was again contributing to the theme of supernatural, to the theme of paranormal. You must have seen in haunted movies, the kind of weather which they depict, which they portray, is not a very pleasant kind of a weather most of the times. It's kind of dark, it's kind of dingy, it's kind of thunder and lightning associated, rain. Okay, so Shakespeare has incorporated the same elements here in the first scene itself, because the first scene is all about the meeting of the three witches. Again, I would like to reiterate my point that the three witches are agents of supernatural. Okay, they do not belong to the normal world, right? So witches itself, they denote the theme of they denote the world of supernatural. Then I told you about the location, about the place, which is the heath. Heath means a wasteland. Again, I would like to move my spotlight here. Here. Okay, so as you can see the word heath, it is written over there, the meaning underneath it, if you can see, it is written as a wasteland. Okay, and then the third factor I told you was the weather itself, the kind of weather which was prevailing. It is thunder and lightning. One more thing, there was a fourth factor as well. As you can see, there's the gray malkin and the paddock. Okay, now gray malkin means a gray cat. Okay, as you can see the meaning written underneath it, and paddock, toad. Now, they were also the agents of supernatural. Here, they have been presented as kind of assistants of the three witches. Okay, they're supernatural assistants, supernatural elements. Like, again, I would like to give you the example of the horror movies, haunted movies. You must have seen bats. Okay, you must have seen owls, wolves. Okay, so, and you must have seen basically usually a gray cat or a black cat as well. So these are the agents of super. They are again the assistants or the agents or the aids of supernatural. Okay, so I told you how many factors here which William Shakespeare has incorporated in the first scene itself, and which contribute to the theme of supernatural. The first is the presence of witches themselves. We have three witches, all right. Then we have the wasteland, the heath, the location of the scene itself denotes it contributes to the theme of supernatural. And then we have the kind of weather which was prevailing. It was thunder and lightning and not a very pleasant kind of a weather. Okay, and then we have the paddock and the gray malkin, the agents of supernatural or the assistants of supernatural. All right, I hope that this is clear to you. Let's begin with the explanation, which is not very difficult. This is a very short and sweet scene. I'll not take much of time to give you the explanation. That is why I covered a lot of time in just giving you the details, okay, the theme associated with it. And like I told you, the theme of supernatural is the first theme that we come across here. Okay, now welcome to the play. This is First Witch. Okay, and what is she saying? Oh, when shall we three meet again in thunder, lightning, or in rain? We have partially covered this dialogue already. Like I told you, she is asking the second witch, when shall we three meet again? This is apparently their first meeting. Okay, this is their first meeting, and now they're kind of discussing about their second meeting. When shall we three meet? I was about to use Hindi, I'm so sorry. When shall we three meet again? Okay, so whether in thunder, lightning, or in rain. All these three words, they denote a very harsh and unpleasant kind of a weather situation or condition, and not a very pleasant situation. All right. Then we come to the second witch. What is she saying? She's saying when the hurly-burly is done, when the battle's lost and won. Very important. You'll have to, it's a very kind of sweet word, kind of like this word. When the hurly-burly is done. Okay, hurly-burly means the chaos of war. When the chaos of war, when the turmoil of war will come to an end, when that will be done, when the battle's lost and won. So they are, as you can see very well, apparently they're talking about some battle. Okay, and you will come to know in Act 1, Scene 2, which battle are you talking about? Students who have already covered Act 1, Scene 2 must be already acquainted with the fact that there was this battle which was taking place between Macbeth and Banquo, the two Scottish generals, and the Norwegian army. Okay, so, and the rebels, obviously. So let's not discuss about Act 1, Scene 2 right now. You only have to keep in mind that they're discussing about some battle, okay, which was imminent and which was being fought, right? And they are planning to meet after this battle comes to an end. Not just the battle, but the hurly-burly of battle, the chaos of battle, the turmoil of battle will come to an end. And obviously, in a battle, what is the end result? One party wins and the other party loses, okay? So when the battle's lost and won. Right. Now the third witch comes into the picture, and she says, third witch, that will be ere the set of the sun. And now she's also, through her dialogue, you're also getting to know about the time, approximation, in approximation, when will they be meeting? So that will be somewhere before the set of the sun. Ere is one word which is used very quite frequently in Shakespearean English. Okay, you must have seen this word in Merchant of Venice. You must have seen this word, class 12 students, you must have seen this word in Tempest as well. And here is another play where Shakespeare has used this word, ere. It means before. Okay, E-R-E. Always remember, because I'm very sure that you will definitely meet this word in the later scenes of the play as well. Okay, so that will be ere the set of the sun. That means before the set of the sun. All right, then again, the first witch comes into the picture, and she says, where the place, right? They have already decided when will they be meeting, right? That is before the set of the sun, and now they are yet to decide the place. The place is upon the heath. That means upon the same land, upon the wasteland where they were standing right now. Okay. Now, obviously, the witches are not going to meet in a party hall. Okay, or in a fancy place. Okay, so this is usually these kind of locations are quite normal with them. Wasteland or barren land, infertile land. Okay, or a heath. Okay, in typical language, right? So they are planning to meet upon the heath, upon the wasteland. Third wish, there to meet with Macbeth. And why should they meet over there? This meeting is going to be absolutely dramatic and crucial, which is going to be a turning event in Macbeth's life, as I've already mentioned before. But let's just not talk about it. We will talk about it in the later scenes of the play. So who are they planning to meet? They are planning to meet with the hero of the play. What kind of hero of the play? The tragic hero of the play, Macbeth. Okay, the protagonist of the play. My students, you must be well aware that I hardly use the word hero, but we use the word protagonist, the main character in layman language, hero of the play. All right, so they are planning to meet with Macbeth. Again, like I told you, it's going to be a very crucial meeting. Okay, first which I come Grey Malkin, second which Paddock calls. Like I told you, Grey Malkin, Grey Cat, and Paddock means a toad. What's a toad? It's kind of a bigger version of a frog, main duck. I I have to use the Hindi word. I'm sorry, but paddock, and it's kind of a toad, a frog, right? A bigger version of a frog, right? If I'm right, so paddock is equal to a frog. Now, third, which anon, that means I'm coming soon. Anon means soon. We will be meeting soon. Okay. Now, this last line is extremely important because this tells you in what kind of a language were they speaking in. Please note, I might as well write this word here on the whiteboard as well, if you can see. So, fair is foul and foul is fair, hover through the fog and fill the air. This kind of language is called as a paradoxical language. Paradoxical language. Okay. So, if you can see the whiteboard, let me check if I can modify it a little bit to make it more visible to you people, but here it is. So yeah, I don't think so. Okay, I hope this is visible to all of you. So yeah, I can do that. Yes. Yes, paradoxical language. Paradoxical language means two opposite concepts, two completely different concepts, opposite concepts coming together. So they're kind of speaking in a very paradoxical language where they are speaking fair is foul and foul is fair. This is also called as speaking in verses, in a poetic language where something is rhyming or matching to each other. So fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air. Coming to the meaning of this line, the first line means that whatever is fair in their world is foul in the natural world, and whatever is foul in their world is fair in their world. Okay, so their world does not synchronize with the natural world, with the realms of the human world. Okay, so whatever is fair here is not fair here, it is foul in the man world, right? And whatever is foul in their world, it is fair in the man world. Okay, so quite contradictory, quite the opposite of each other. Hover through the fog and fill the air. And they say hover. Hover means like you must have seen a plane hovering right above the ground. Okay, not exactly touching the ground, but quite in a distance. Hover through the fog and fill the air. So what kind of the quality of air will they be hovering around? Through the fog, you must be knowing what a fog is. Filthy means dirty. Okay, filthy, dirty air, not very clean and pleasant air, fit to breathe, but filthy air. Okay, so they are kind of setting the location, and like I told you that they are speaking in paradoxical language. Such kind of language is also called as ambiguous language. Okay, now ambiguous, just in case if you do not know the meaning, the word ambiguous means something that leaves you with a confusion. Okay, that the idea is not, the result is not clear. There's something that enforces the audience to think as per their own withstanding, using their perspective, using their own discretion. All right, so such kind of language is called as either paradoxical language, or they are leaving you with an ambiguity. Okay, talking in ambiguous language. All right, so I hope this concept is clear to you, what kind of language they are speaking in. Paradoxical language, and paradoxical means two opposite concepts coming together and juxtapositioning them. All right, so this is all about Act 1, Scene 1. And let me move to this again. This is my highlighter spotlight. And like I told you, the themes of the scene, first of all, the significance of Act 1, Scene 1. If you want to write down, you can as well write it down. The first significance will be that the three witches, like I told you, they play a crucial role. They play a pivotal role in the entire play, throughout the play. Okay, so William Shakespeare is introducing the three witches to the audience, number one, right? Second, like I told you, that the theme of supernatural, the theme of paranormal, okay, the theme of magic, kind of, we can say that. We can say magic somewhat, right? Magic, supernatural, paranormal, and we can see many factors contributing to it. The presence of witches itself is that, dominating factor, witches, right? Then we can see the location, the heat, the wasteland. Then we can see the kind of weather which was prevailing, thunder, lightning, and it was not raining but only thunder and lightning, right? Again, paranormal, supernatural. Then there was one more element. I told you that the Grey Malkin and the paddock, right? So that is again another. Then one more significance of this scene that I would like to end my video with is that we can see a little bit of foreboding. I hope that you know the meaning of the word foreboding, or we can say foreboding or prediction in plain language. Okay? So, prediction, predicting. Okay, now foreboding means when you, well in advance, just in case if you don't know the meaning, you can understand it right now. Foreboding is when, well in advance, we come to know what might happen in the later scenes of the play. Okay, that is called as foreboding. You can kind of predict, and that is quite apparent, that is quite certain, that is very clear because in the first meeting itself, they are deciding what is about to come. They are planning to meet Macbeth. Okay, and I told you for the fact that this meeting is not going to be a very normal meeting, but a dramatic meeting. Okay, and I also told you that this is going to be a life turning event in the life of the protagonist of the play, Macbeth. Okay, so I would like to repeat, I would like to put this video to an end now by just recapitulating all the important points. So like we have done the theme of supernatural, I told you the 4 factors, right? Then I also told you something about the introduction about of the 3 witches plays a major role. They play a major role throughout the play. So their introduction is again something which is extremely important for you to study, and their role as well. Okay, and then I told you about the foreboding, about the prediction that where are they planning to meet? Where are they when are they planning to meet? In thunder, lightning, or in rain? Ere the set of the sun, before the set of the sun. As you can see, my highlighter here. Yes. Okay, so ere the set of the sun, before the set of the sun. Okay, and which place they are planning to meet upon the heath, upon the wasteland. Who are they planning to meet? They are planning to meet with Macbeth. Okay, who is the protagonist of the play. All right. So I hope that scene 1 is absolutely crystal clear in your mind, and keep the notes intact. I would suggest that you can write all this in your book itself because I don't usually suggest my students to study from the guide, only in extreme conditions where you're not able to understand anything that you can read guides. Otherwise, if you have your teacher who is explaining you each and every word, the meaning of each and every word, meaning of each and every sentence, the implied meaning, and the theme, the significance of the scene, I don't think that you really need guides as your support system. You should definitely study from your textbook itself, because the moment you start habituating yourself of studying from your textbook, that is the moment when you will actually start writing the keywords and the dialogues and the quotations, which will definitely fetch you extra marks. See, the thing is, it's quite scientific that when you start making yourself habitual of studying from the guide, you start using the same kind of language, the very informal language of explaining things in the examination, in the answer script as well. And I'm not saying that it will not fetch you marks, it will definitely give you marks, but not as much as you will actually quote or write the keywords from the textbook itself. Okay, so it's all about enhancing your study habits. So if you really want to enhance your William Shakespeare level, the plays written by him, if you really want to master it and write perfect answers in the examination, do not use guide. Okay, that's my personal suggestion. Rest is all up to you. That is up to your discretion, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to end this video again with like the same thing like I requested. Like if there is a request from the students that they want the video to be in Hindi as well, so I can try to give it a best. I can try to amalgamate both the languages together, and I will try to make another video which will be not just in English but in Hindi as well. Okay, so I'll see you with the explanation of Act 1 Scene 2. Take care. Bye-bye.